So, a bit of bass fishing is on the agenda. I've got a couple hours free, and yeah, got a brand new reel which I'm yet to use. This is it here. This is a size 4000, which normally I use a 2000 size reel on my lure rod, but I'll explain the reason why I got this another time. But yeah, I'm out, and I'm out to get a bass. So let's see what's about. Now I've got a fairly strong wind here, which at the moment is right behind me. So casting straight in front of me is okay, but casting to my left or right, kind of going against the wind a bit. And with using a new reel, I've obviously spooled it with some new braid, and so I'm just a bit cautious of casting against the wind, because I always like to wear a reel in over a session or two before I get a bit too cocky with it. I always tend to find if I'm going to get a wind knot, it's always when the braid is fresh on the reel. So I just like to get a few casts out and just wet the braid a bit before I start casting in different directions. Now, I haven't been to this spot in months, probably since April, May maybe. Well, fish on. That was such an odd take. Now, you would not believe how much the tide rips through here. I don't know where that is. There it is. See? Look at that. In the tide. It doesn't mess about. I'll show you how fast the tide is running through here in a minute. But my God, I really wasn't expecting that. Hope I can land him. That was so odd. It's in the tide the whole time. I honestly didn't know that took, if I'm being completely real with you. But there we are. One bass, bang, in a new spot. Now I'm going to move to a safer, because the tide is ripping through, absolutely ripping. I cast the lure out into the water and just let it drift so I could get an idea of how fast it was moving, and it just flew by me. Right, here we go. One basil. Get you a better show. There we are. Beauty, taking on the patch. Lovely job. I'll get him unhooked before he spikes me. Right, there we go. One bass. Really took me by surprise, that. I can't really explain. But I'm going to get him back. I left my pliers in the car, so it's had a bit of a struggle getting him unhooked. Just release him into here. It won't take long for him to go off. Just get his bearings and off he darts. Right, I'm gonna have to move because that tide is whipping in so quickly. Well, that really took me off guard, that little bass taking, and I will admit I didn't even feel the take on it. What's happening is I was fishing just past that rock there, which it's got covered now because the tide is whipping in so quickly. The current is running from left to right at a serious speed, like really serious speed. I cast a lure out there and didn't touch it, just let it drift, and it travels so quickly. So what I was doing was casting against the current and drawing it back that way. I did that a few times and nothing was happening, so I cast the lure to my far left, let it drift for a little bit, and that must have been when that bass took. And as it took, obviously, I mean, it was hard to tell it was even on because it would start swimming with the tide, then against the tide, and if you just left it hang there, you could feel it. It wasn't moving in the water, but the tide was ripping against it. But yeah, I'm super happy about that. It's a new spot, never fished that bit before, and the brand new reel on its first outing picks up a little bass, so quality. Well, I'm absolutely chirping about that. I haven't been out since last week when I managed to pick up a bass. That was last Friday. Today's Wednesday, so it's nice to come out and get a fish pretty quick into the session. Now, where I am, there's a mark I fish fairly often. I haven't been there for a few months, and that's where I started. I must have had 10 or 15 casts there, and I was using the surface lure. This one's the Patchinko 140, and there's a little bit of chop, and with the current running through, every time I cast out I couldn't actually see the lure, so it was just a bit of a gamble really. So I noticed it was a lot stiller here where the current runs through, because it starts to rip as it goes over a causeway here. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to give it a few more casts here. The tide's coming in really quickly, and all this is going to get cut off quite shortly, so I'm going to give it 10 or 15 casts from here and see if it's any good. Ideally I would like to fish that direction, but there's just nowhere to go. There's the odd boulders to stand on, but with the tide coming in at the pace it is, it's just not fishable. So I'll give it a blast here, and then I think I might be meeting my brother somewhere else and trying somewhere else in a bit. Now, when I've been here in the past, I've actually seen kayakers come through on the left here, just drop a lure down and drift through and over this causeway, and I've always thought that would be a brilliant thing to try. And it doesn't take long to get over it. You travel at a fair speed. I mean, even here, I've just cast my lure out to the left there, and it's over here now. It really is crazy how fast the tide whips through here. Like I said before, I usually fish another side of the bay to here altogether. But it's nice to know that it will be worth a go. I'd like to fish it as the tide's dropping one time and give that a try. But anyway, I'm going to move around and have 1 or 2 casts and then assess the situation. Oh yeah. Fish on! Woohoo! The Savage Gear sandeel. I think this could be an alright fish. This is an alright fish.
Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it.
I look about £3, I reckon. Gutted. I was trying to decide where to bring it up and popped off. No! Let's get back out there. Well, that was a shame. That was about third cast. Just switched to the Savage Gear sandeel. Had that fish take, but to be honest, I messed about with it a bit too much and it spat the hook. I was just on a steady retrieve. I let the lure sink, probably about 5 or 6 feet. Let's see if we can find some more. I know. So, spot number 3 of the evening. 1 fish down, 1 fish lost. Got the Patchinko back on. Let's give it a blast. Lime's in. Our first cast. Hang on, I'm coming up. Oh yeah? Woohoo!
Beautiful.
Nice.
Cast.
What's that on the zonk?
Zonk, yeah.
You see?
Come down, mate. It's really late. It wasn't on my feet.
Yeah? Wow, productive.